Hello lovely people and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a book haul for you. It's not the biggest book haul in the world, but you know, I recently went on a book buying spree and bought a fair few books. A couple of them I have already read, so I can probably share a few thoughts for you as well. But yeah, I have nearly 20 books, I think, to share with you today, so yeah, let's get into the video. The first book I have is The Midnight Library. This is basically about a girl called Nora, and she is going through a very tough time, and she basically gets transported into this library, and in this library she gets to go through and see what would happen in her life if she made a different decision or did something different at some point in time, and it just sounds really interesting. I've obviously heard a lot of people talk about it. It's been quite a big book for the past few years and I've just never picked it up, so I'm sure I will enjoy this and I'll likely get to it quite soon. The next book I have is Tom Lake by Anna Patchett, and first of all, this cover is just absolutely beautiful, but I just feel like this would be really nice to read in summer. It's definitely, based on the cover alone, the right season to read this. I think this would be quite a nice, like, a holiday read, like to take away with me, whether it's on the plane, it's at the beach. I think, yeah, so I really can't wait to get into this, and I think it's, you know, a bit different to some of the bits I usually read, so I think I'll quite enjoy this. The next book I have is Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I am currently, I think it's like 30%-ish through this book, and this is actually my first ever Taylor Jenkins Reid book. I do own The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, but I sort of put it off a lot because I was very scared to get into it. Like, the premise really intrigues me, and obviously I've heard so many good things about The Seven Husbands, but knowing everybody loves it, I was really scared to not like it. But I'm absolutely loving Taylor Jenkins Reid's writing style, so I definitely can't wait to delve into her books more. But Atmosphere is basically about a woman who ends up working for NASA, and it's a queer romance, which I really like, and I'm, you know, also the cover, stunning, absolutely beautiful. But yeah, I've heard that the end is quite emotional, so that's quite scary, but I'm really enjoying this so far, and I did end up getting into a little bit of a slump just after starting this. No fault to the book at all, but I do plan to pick this up again very, very soon because I'm really enjoying it, so hopefully this will be in my August wrap up. I also picked up Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I basically started reading Atmosphere, realised just how much I loved Taylor Jenkins Reid's writing style, and then thought, Daisy Jones and the Six, I absolutely have to read it. I kind of want to read this before The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo because I've heard less about this, and I thought by doing this then it's sort of less pressure, and once I've read this I'll probably then read Seven Husbands, which I've had sat for a couple of years, I can't lie, waiting to be read. However, this book does need sending back because I accidentally ordered the French version of this book. Basically, I love this cover of the book. I think it's absolutely stunning, and I prefer this cover so much more than the current version, which I'll insert a photo if I remember to do so, but I love this version of the cover so much in comparison to like the rainbow one at the minute. So I was like, oh, I really want this cover, and then I found it on Amazon. I was like, okay, brilliant, great, ordered it, and then didn't realise that the one I'd ordered was French, which is heartbreaking, honestly, because you can only get, from what I can see, you can only get this cover in the French version, which breaks my heart so much. However, it's okay. Ultimately, as long as I get to read it, I don't mind. So this will be going back, and I will be ordering the English version of this book. I then have Deep Cuts by Holly Brookley. Yeah, I think so. And this book has all got to do with like music, and it is a romance, but it's very much like 2000s music sort of heavy. And I did start this, I got like 35-40% in, and I did DNF it. I only DNF'd this the other day actually. However, I think it is only a soft DNF. I just could feel it putting me into a bit of a slump, which I don't think it's the book's fault, but also I wasn't gelling with it as much as I could do. So I think I will definitely pick this up maybe around like autumn, winter time. I think that would be nice to read then rather than in summer. I don't know, but I hope to continue this because I was enjoying it, but also I wasn't absolutely loving it, you know what I mean? I then have The Women by Kristin Hannah, and this is basically about some of the women that helped with the war in Vietnam. And I do have The Nightingale by Kristin Hannah, which I started quite a while ago, and I didn't end up finishing it just because I wasn't in the right mood to read it when I started it. But I do really enjoy Kristin Hannah's writing style, and I think this book will be absolutely amazing. You know, I've only heard good things about Kristin Hannah, so I have very high expectations, to say the least. I then have Anxious People by Fredrik Backman, and this is basically about a bank robbery that ends up going wrong, and then there's like a building of people that it took hostage, if that is correct. I've heard very good things about Fredrik Backman's writing. I really want to get into his writing, and I also, this cover is just really enticing generally. I know that there's quite a few different covers for this book if I know correctly, but I got both of these books from a small independent bookstore in Pickering, and the bookstore was so lovely and cute. I can't remember the name of it. It was something along the lines of like Pickering Book Tree or something like that. If I can like find the receipt or something, I'll like put the name up. But the bookstore was lovely, and I think it's always great to, you know, support independent bookstores. So yeah. I also then have Table for One by Emma Gannon, and this is basically about a woman who is in a relationship. She's not yet married, but they've basically been pushing back marriage for a while, not for herself but for the man she was in the relationship with. And I absolutely love this. I have already read this. The cover is actually what drew me to this. I haven't heard anybody at all talk about this book. I think it's quite a new release. I rated this quite highly. I believe it was over 4 stars. This will be in my July reading wrap up, so go see that if you want to hear more thoughts on this. However, I loved it. It was great. It basically just sort of tells the story of like, you know, not being in a relationship and like how you deal with that, and like being on your own, and like making new friends and friendships and family and everything, like, but when you're older. And I really like that. I think for an older audience, like I'm 19, 20 this year, and I think I really enjoyed this, and I think that definitely for an older audience this would be great, whether that be like mid-20s, 30s, 40s even. Like, I think this book would be great. I then have Powerful by Lauren Roberts, but the Waterstones special edition, which is absolutely stunning. She's absolutely beautiful. Basically, because Fearless only came out in hardback, and I have the paperback copies of the rest of the series, I have then bought the hardbacks of the rest of the series. I am waiting for Powerless and Reckless to come back in the hardbacks, because every time I've tried to grab them they weren't in stock, minus one time when I was in Edinburgh, but I didn't really have the space to then carry them back with me. So I'm waiting for them to be back in stock, and then I'll have a lovely little collection. And then when Fearless is in paperback, I'll get that. So I've then got 2 complete sets of it. But this is absolutely stunning anyways, and I love Powerful. It was such a good novella. I think that as much as you don't need to read it when you're reading the Powerless series, it's definitely worth the read. I then have The Wedding People by Alison Espach. I've just heard a lot of people talk about this recently, and I think this would be great in summer. I think I'm going to take this on holiday with me. It is on my August TBR, so, you know, if I can get to this, that would be great. But I have heard that the beginning of this is quite dark, and then after that it sort of lightens up a bit, but I think that this will be a good read and I can't wait to get to it. I then have The Passion Project by London Sperry, and I can't remember who I saw talk about this. It might have been Sarah, I'm not too sure. However, the cover is absolutely stunning. She's absolutely beautiful and she's quite floppy, which I absolutely love because books in the UK just are not, they're known for being flat as a board. But to be totally honest, I'm not too sure what this is about. I believe it takes place in New York. Yes, it does. It takes place in New York, but the cover was too beautiful to pass up. It was just too stunning. It was far too enticing to just leave. I then have One Italian Summer, which I believe I saw Destiny talk about. This book, again, beautiful, beautiful cover, but also I think this would be great to read on holiday. I think I'm definitely going to take this away with me when I go to Spain next month. I actually do also think I'm going to be vlogging that trip. I'll probably do how much I realistically read on holiday, and also maybe a little holiday vlog. It depends because I'm going away with my best friend and her family. So it depends how awkward it is, I suppose, filming with them, but we'll see. But yeah, One Italian Summer. I think, you know, I love Italy. I do Introductory in Archaeology at uni, in case you're wondering, hence my shelf of ancient text and classics. But yeah, I think this will be a lovely, lovely, lovely read for the beach. I then have 4 Annabel Monaghan books. I have Summer Romance, It's a Love Story, Same Time Next Summer, and Nora Goes Off Script. I have started Nora Goes Off Script. That is my current read and I'm really enjoying it so far. The reason I bought 4 Annabel Monaghan books before having read any of her work is because I just knew I was going to really like her writing style. I've heard so many people talk about her and I honestly thought that all of these would be perfect, whether I'm taking it on holiday with me or just generally reading it in summer. I thought all of these are perfect for the season right now, and I'm currently reading Nora Goes Off Script, which I know that one of these is like definitely like people's least favourite. However, this I am very much enjoying right now, which is splendid. And then finally, the last book of the haul is Quicksilver by Callie Hart. I've heard so many people talk about this book and I've just never got it. I am very thankful that I now have it in my possession because this is on my August TBR, so I should hopefully get to it very soon, because it just seems so enticing and the naked hardback is beautiful. I love a pretty hardcover. But yeah, I'm very excited to get into this. Honestly, not too sure what it's about. I've heard a lot of people talk about it and I've heard a lot of good things, but I'm not too sure what it's about, but I want to keep it that way. I really am looking forward to just sort of seeing, you know, what it's all about and what the hype's about. So yeah, so that is all of the books I have bought recently, and I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you haven't already, feel free to go watch me pick out my August TBR, and I think my next video up will be the books I'm taking with me to uni, because I'm taking quite a few. There's absolutely no need for the amount of books I'm taking to uni. However, I'd like choice. I'm a big mood reader, so there's that, and I'm gonna have the space for it, so why not bring them all with me, really. But yeah, if you enjoyed today's video, please make sure you subscribe and like the video. It would really help. And yeah, I'll see you next time, besties. Bye.